I could never be a TV like show host, like a news reporter. We know that now. Okay, so
Uh,
hi
yeah,
everybody.
you
This
probably just
is
end up on Dateline
oh yeah, absolutely. I could
or
now I
2020.
covered
Okay, I'll be.
okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Lindsay with Birmingham Art Crawl, and we are here with Michael Molay. He is a printmaker here in Birmingham and a friend of mine. And so, for one of our very first Zoom chats with local artists, I'd like to introduce Michael. And Michael, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us, what have you been up to? Tell us about your
Um,
work. Something.
so
Yeah.
something. Okay. Well, I've been trying to survive 2020 like everybody else. That's a pretty good start. Yeah, gosh, I did. Yeah, so I met Lindsay in like art crawl back in 2017, doing art crawl, and I know that makes us old now. Can we get Medicare now? I kind of need it.
Actually, yes, I think we qualify.
Yes. I mean, I'm going to qualify for Medicaid this year, so there you go. Anyway, um, so yeah, we met each other kind of just doing art crawl stuff in 2017. She was already at the visits, and I just started I did printmaking years ago, and this was the first time really kind of getting back into it. I graduated from Auburn University, the bachelor's in industrial design in 2015. So if anybody needs a product designer, particularly in California, please let me know. I will move in a heartbeat. There's the
All
plug
right, fair
there.
enough.
There's the plug
Fair
there. But
enough. All right.
yeah, I started doing things I'm a native of Birmingham, and I've always been interested in people's like experiences and stories of things in Birmingham, because there's always kind of a way to me to gather like, a better understanding of my hometown, and um, and just kind of maybe do something with that in the future. So I use my printmaking as a way to um, create create things from the same blocks. Like it's kind of like almost a mass production feel of art, but it's all handmade. So it's like no two prints are ever the same. It's not like you just hit Control P on the printer. Like this is all handmade and hand done. And I just always, I just really fell in love with the process. And I just did it for a long time. Not really doing it that much right now just because of COVID and everything. But
Right.
yeah.
Do you think
So.
shows and stuff have affected that, or what do you think is the reason most that you're not working or selling art right now? Do you think it's because people aren't buying, or do you think it's because there's not an outlet for you?
I think
Or all of the above, probably.
all of the above. I think I mean,
A hard
that's
question.
kind of living in Alabama. But yeah,
Fair.
you just kind of shake your head, yeah, yeah. But like to formally answer your question, COVID really kind of hit, just everybody, and not many people have like, disposable kind of income. And the way that I did my works is that they're really affordable, like pieces of art. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like right now, for me personally, like right now just doesn't seem to be the time to like ask people to spend money since it's just really tight. But I know
Yes.
everybody's circumstances is different.
Right.
Like but that's just kind of what I've thought through. But it's given me a lot of time. I will say this before, COVID and everything. I kind of built. I kind of the way that I did it, and it works different for everybody with whatever you do. But I just kind of built throughout the years doing the art and all, and I did art crawl pretty much every month for about a couple of years until I kind of burnt myself out from it. But it was just so. But during like, and then I would kind of do maybe every other month or something. But like each time I did it, it was always a really great experience. Just like talking to people and just seeing, you know, just people talking and just getting together and
Yeah.
getting to know your neighbor in a way.
It really is. It becomes sort of a family and like kind of a support system of artists. I've noticed
Yeah.
the past several years. It's like a lot of people make a lot of really great artist friends, you know, in our community that are able to now sort of build these friendships and partnerships and, you know, collaborations together. And you guys have been doing that on your own, you know, and it's just really great to sort of watch you guys grow up.
I know. And you
Oh,
too.
you're so cute.
So are you. Look at, I mean, look, you were just rocking like this hairstyle and all, and I'm at a really crappy
Oh,
angle here, and I even did a hemp bath yesterday. The Epsom
oh,
salt stuff they've got hemp now, so it was a
okay.
really relaxing bath, and like
Good.
my hair was just all on point, but now it just looks like crap in here, but that's okay. I'm not
Well,
complaining.
I think you look great.
Thank you,
Now,
thank you.
prepare 20 questions to ask you,
God,
sort of
I'm
off the
scared.
wall, okay? Some of them might be kind of serious, some of them might be completely, totally bizarre. Are you ready?
Well,
Game.
expecting from you, yes, I'm ready.
I was born ready. Okay.
You were. One is the loneliest number. Next question.
Okay.
Is it the
What do
loneliest
you want
number?
to be when you grow up? How old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, now that you're 26, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, if it's the 2020 answer, alive would be great, you know.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Doom. But what I want to be when I grow up. When God.
Doesn't
So
have to be that serious, you
it doesn't
know.
have to be. Oh, okay, it doesn't have to be that serious.
I mean, it could be like, you know, an industrial diner, perhaps, in California.
Yeah, that would be nice. I just want at this point, I just want an income where I can make a living and have health insurance.
Fair.
Like, yeah, that what I want to
Yeah.
be in when I grow up in America is just able to survive. But
Sometimes it
beyond
doesn't
that,
really, yeah, it doesn't really matter what you want to be when you grow up anymore, I don't think.
what do you want to be
It's
when you
that
grow up?
way, doesn't it?
That's why we call it adulting.
All right, next
You know,
question. I told you some of
okay,
these were going to be pretty rough. So here's a little bit of a better one. Number two,
okay.
what inspires you?
Can you say that again?
What inspires you?
What inspires me? What inspires me,
Anything.
um, you know, it kind of goes in my art too. What inspires me is telling truth, even though it's uncomfortable and there's consequences. Because there's so much. Oh God, you got me in rant mode here. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh
So
no.
there's so much poverty and disparity, and you know sometimes it just takes people standing up to that to say enough. And it may not show in my art like how y'all have seen it, but the motivation's always been there, and that's something that's trying to come out. So I think the thing that inspires me the most is sort of telling truth of how I see it and what I think is best for to reduce like suffering for everybody. Like you know, so like Medicare for all, like yeah, that'd be great. So, but not to get political. So
Well, there's more
here we
questions.
are. Art is political. So
So where do you want to travel the most? Where do you want to go? If you could
mhm.
go somewhere, if we were allowed to go anywhere, where would you want to go?
um, well, if in the country, California, anywhere on the West Coast, but outside of the United States, you know, I really
What
Europe,
is it
but
about the
Iran.
West?
Iran. I
Okay.
would love to visit Iran. It's a beautiful
Okay.
place. People are
Yeah.
beautiful too. So
Right.
beautiful culture and history.
Yeah.
But what was your question again?
Well, I was going to ask you, what keeps drawing you to the West Coast?
Um, that
Just like the excitement, the beauty, the
there
people,
there's
the vibe.
yeah, pretty much. And there's just like the stuff that I did when I was in school, like there's really not a lot of there's just not a lot of opportunities here in Alabama. Well, in the South, but particularly in Alabama. There would be more in like Atlanta, or like if you did furniture, like in North Carolina.
Mhm.
Um, but I think like a lot of people, um, I'm just really tired of just feeling like every day you have to survive, and it's really important. Like I think what's so important, like with like art crawl and the overall like people that do creative things in the Birmingham community, is that like this is a city that is not historically is not there hasn't been a lot of like when people want to do something different or do something creative, it's not accepted. And that's not something from opinion. This is actually like there's there were books written on this. There was research done on this, and I've held them personally, like at the library. So there's a history to that, and the importance of breaking down that kind of history to actually bring some form of cultural change here is to support artists and to have like availability in programs like um, from something like art crawl, like for instance, or something even more systemic like you know better funding of like schools and art programs and things like that. Because
Scholarships and, Art
yes,
Crawl, has a scholarship program where people can, either individuals or companies or whomever, can support an artist for like a year if they want to, or 6 months if they want to.
and
Um,
see, and it took
dues, and they don't have to pay any dues to participate, and then they also get like a material stipend every month. So stuff like
and
that, that's important.
I'll say this too, like, because that seems to be something kind of you've been developing on, and and before that wasn't really kind of a thing. Like when I first started, um, I was at Jeff State at the time. I was doing web design, and that was something that, like, even though I've already had been like a student, you know, like I was just getting a certificate, not a degree, but I was still considered a student, and I was able to do art crawl like without the waiver monthly fee, and that really helped. That really helped, like, because any little bit helps, and I
Oh
think
yeah, absolutely.
commending you on that, because like
Well,
as I said before, there's just there needs to be a broader there there needs to be a less divisive culture here in Birmingham community. And I think some things that come out from that is like that help lessen that division are systemic things that benefit everybody. But when there are things that you can't do as like a government entity alone, like, and those are really big things that help. Like having like community organizations like Art Crawl or like Art Walk, or, anything like that. Those are supplemental things to address bringing down the vision of a bigger problem.
right.
And those are things I'm kind of like themes I'm kind of working on in my new art, but
Yeah.
not to plug or anything. So shameless,
Love it.
but
Love it. That's okay.
love it.
Okay. Good answer.
Thank you. Good question.
Um, what's your favorite 90s jam?
Oh my God. If I know who's watching, who will be watching this,
Yeah.
um,
Could be everybody, could be nobody.
hey, cheers to that. Um, I, can I list like two or three?
All right. Top three 90s jam.
Top three. Okay. So, because I can't like rate them at number one, but I can do like a top three. It just depends on my mood, my vibe. So if I'm feeling really just like F everybody. I'm just going to do this. Bitch by Meredith Brooks. You Want to Know by Alanis. Alanis only. And, if I'm feeling like down, it might have been 2000 or something, but like Adia by Sarah McLachlan. Your facial expression says it all. And I mean, I'm sure there's 20 million other more. I know, like, New Radicals. You got to give it. Okay, but if there was a fourth one, there's that.
Okay.
But lately, I've been in a Meredith Brooks vibe.
You failed that question, by the way. If
Good,
this was
good.
I got an F on that. Sorry.
Good. I did. Well, you know what? At least I didn't have bone spurts.
Well, here you go. All right.
Edit.
What would the name of your debut album be? At least I didn't have. Could be anything. Ooh, I got you.
That's a good one.
You're
Man, I'm blushing. I'm blushing so hard.
It could just be something like, just like a play on your name or something. Like Molay.
Oh, you know what? It's kind of like, I remember someone in college telling me this, but she was like, if you had a band name, so this could be like the debut album band name, like, how Ben Folds 5 was like Ben Folds 5, Michael and the Molays.
I like it.
I'm telling. And then I would do like, I made some Photoshop stuff in the past, but like, I think a tribute band would be like to Radiohead, be like Llama Head instead of the Bends and Spits, And they all got the Spits. I'm feeling that.
Okay.
That's a good question. I don't really know, but for the sake of this interview, we'll just go with that.
All right. I'm digging it.
There. I'm digging it too.
Pass.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
What's the most daring thing you've ever done? And you get to define what daring is to you. Like, daring to me may be something different to you.
Will this be censored? No, just teasing.
I don't think so.
Just a big censor bar. What's daring?
Skydiving, swimming with sharks.
Do you want me to go deep or shallow? I think
You.
Me do me? Okay. I think the most daring thing is being vulnerable. You popped up, you're like, good answer. I'm going to use that in the highlight reel. But it's true, I'm really, I can be really timid and shy, and ways that I kind of step out of that is using humor. It's always been that way. Because for me, I've always kind of been really uncomfortable, like, around people. Not that I can't relate to them. It's not that. It's just like,
Right.
I just really like deeper connections with people, and I don't like small talk. So in order to like talk to somebody, like, I just kind of go deep, and that's kind of an act of vulnerability. So if they don't like it, I would just already know.
Right.
But if not, that's what develops into a really nice relationship. So what was that question again? What was the phrase?
The most daring thing you've ever done.
Okay. Yeah.
Be vulnerable.
Brene Brown, that being vulnerable.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So here's a little bit, this one's a little bit more lighthearted, hopefully.
I'll probably make it deep.
But you'll turn it into something probably that I'm going to have to call you after this about. Do you eat expired food items?
Eat what food items?
Expired food in your refrigerator. Do you eat it? Be honest.
It depends what it is. Like
what?
Not really. Not really. Seriously, no. Like, if it's like cookies, oh yeah, like sure. If it's something
Okay.
sweet, yeah, but like cheese or something,
Milk.
nah. But
Okay.
I guess it's already
Sour
expired
cream.
anyway. So what?
Sour cream. I mean, sour cream.
I'm not a big sour cream person. I love
Yeah.
hummus. I know.
Okay.
That's what ended our friendship. Sour cream.
All right. Well, moving
But I do
on.
like things in front of my salad, so
Okay.
some of y'all will understand that. So
Get
I
out of
like
here.
croutons,
Stop. Stop.
ginger dressing.
Stop. Okay.
Okay.
How many bowls of cereal do you eat a day, and
Hmm.
why aren't you eating more?
That's a good point. I really only eat one bowl of cereal a day, but I will say yesterday I ate a bowl and a half. Um, and
What
I'll say
kind
this,
was it?
okay, you're gonna laugh as I try to find a plug here. You're gonna laugh because I'm so like I am so I am wealthy in many ways except money. I'm very poor. Let me plug this in real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So the so I shop at Aldi all the time because I love Aldi.
Well,
So
yeah. Right.
they have a bougie like Cocoa Puffs. I forget what it's called, but that's what I eat. It's called and it's like $1.99, like a regular box. Can't get that at Publix, can you?
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
You
Mm.
cannot, but I am not eating sugar or processed food right now. So that's probably why I'm in a bad mood personally.
Well, is that why you didn't want me at Crestwood? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why. I saw to see it in your face. It's
No.
fine. No,
All right.
you're gonna call me later anyway. But it's
Are
fine.
you ready? Are you ready
No,
for your next question? What number is this? This is still number just 9. Okay, you ready?
no.
What was your best MacGyver moment? I think I already know what it was.
Oh, I kind of want to know what you think it is.
Well, first, I think it's you trying to figure out how to plug in that thing just now.
I'm so disappointed in you. I was really thinking like, oh, he like put up a tent or something. The plug. Wow,
You
thanks.
didn't put
Okay,
up a
interview
tent.
is
You never
over.
put up a tent. I'm just kidding. You did. You did.
There's so many innuendos, but I have to filter myself for the children because it's all about the
Okay,
children.
right. This is.
The most MacGyver thing,
Mhm.
yes. The most MacGyver thing I've done, I think it was earning my degree because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I did
I
not know what I
MacGyvered
was
my way
doing.
through every last semester.
I think I MacGyvered my way through life, honestly. Am I pleased with the results? I'm here, so there you go.
You
But I
duct
think,
taped it together just fine.
okay, yeah, that was definitely my degree. Oh my God. Oh, we could rant
But
about
you
that,
did
but
it. But you
I
did
did
it.
it with
You
no
did it.
job prospects. Yay, 5 years
Love it. But you
later.
did it. It's okay. It's trust me,
It's
it's gonna
okay.
be okay.
The debt is just wonderful.
I think it's gonna be okay.
It's
Now,
fine.
what do you think about gnomes?
Say what?
What do you think about garden gnomes?
Garden gnomes?
Creepy? Cute?
Yes, creepy. Creepy.
Okay.
Hmm. And I know some people that love them. If they see this, you already know. You ought to know.
My sister likes them. I don't like them. You know,
That's why we get along.
yeah, it's one of those things. You like them or you.
I'm I'm so sorry on behalf of your sister.
She's actually very nice. Um,
The gnomes is
now,
pretty suspicious. I know people kill people to turn them into gnomes, allegedly.
okay, here's the next question.
You're gonna edit that out.
Moving on. Bleep.
Mhm.
Who would win a fight between Michelangelo and Leonardo, the artist and the turtle?
um, hmm, I would say you.
Hmm? Me?
Yeah,
But I'm not in the fight.
but you'll find your way in.
What's that even mean?
I'd say Michelangelo because it's
Good
in the
one.
name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And the turtle, the same. They both.
why not? I never really got into the Ninja Turtles, so
Thank you. Right answer.
yeah, my brother did, but he's a boomer, so no, I'm just
Out of here. Okay.
no, yeah, my brother was into it. I never really got. I thought it was kind of dumb, but
Well, you're right.
I know.
Why are manholes round?
What?
Why are manholes round?
Oh, I thought you phrased it something else. Why
No.
are they round?
Yes.
Ask the Claremont sinkhole. They'll give you a better answer. Because I can. God, this Zoom thing. You just hear the wrong things.
All right.
So
Well.
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay. Got it. Moving on. Describe the color yellow to someone who can't see. Oh, that's tough. Man, that's tough, isn't it? I don't know the answer
It's
to
like
that.
you know that car you get into in the back seat, and like you don't know where you're going. That's a taxi cab, and the outside of it's yellow. I don't know. Maybe that's how you describe
My
yellow.
eyes and pretending like I couldn't see, and that meant nothing to me. So say
Okay, here's the censored answer you're gonna edit out. Ask R. Kelly.
all right, all right. Moving on. Ready?
I hope you don't edit any of this. This is
I'm,
golden, like
I'm
R.
not.
Kelly.
It's all. I don't even know. Wouldn't even really know how to edit it for real anyway. So it's just
Okay, that's right. Okay, cool.
all right.
Hi,
So
mom. Hi, dad.
rate
It's
yourself
fine.
on a scale from 1 to 10.
Debate myself.
Rate yourself
Rate myself.
on a scale from 1 to 10. One being
Uh,
totally crappy, and 10 being like you're like the
I
best.
I
Something.
would say at the very least
Mm,
6.9.
That's not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah, just
I mean,
multiply it.
that's almost a C average.
Yeah, but it's still a D.
You passed.
Thank you. D for diploma.
Okay. So,
Innuendos.
all this considered, what's your
Mhm.
backup plan?
So, I think uh, I think it's ask anybody else. Joking aside. My backup plan
Yeah.
for 2020 or just like what?
Just it could be however you want to interpret for like today, for 2020, for just
Um, I'm working on. Excuse me. I am working on my website. I'm reworking my website. It's gonna show like it'll show like the printmaking stuff, but that's only like one part of it. This like website I'm working on is it's like all of the stuff I did in college and things like that. And I'm doing something creative, like kind of different,
Mhm.
where I'm kind of putting myself in the project, like as a caricature, and just kind of breaking
Okay.
the fourth wall, being like,
Right.
yeah, my degree, like it was. There were so many lemons like thrown at me, so I just tried the best to make shitty lemonade. Lemonade. And Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like um, I yeah, that's kind of what my backup plan is to have that so like I can find a job,
Well,
to
now is
afford
a good
health care,
time.
.
Now's a good time to sort of like think about yourself and what you want, and like there's all this crazy stuff. So now's a really good time to be thinking about how maybe to rebrand yourself or reinvent yourself or how to get yourself out there or do things differently. I mean, it's time to pivot. I think everybody's sort of learning right now, like 2020, the year, like the word is pivot.
That is so true. That is so true. Amen.
So moving on, question 16. We're getting there. I can't believe we made it this far. So here we go.
Wow, thanks. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Honestly, when
Honestly.
you washed your pants?
Yesterday actually. I did my laundry yesterday. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
really good answer. Good answer.
I know, because like it'd been about almost 2 weeks because I was so depressed. But I had to get stuff done yesterday, so I was just in that mode. So yeah, I cleaned my pants yesterday. Just for
Very
you.
good. I cleaned some today, so we're on a roll.
We are on a roll. Like rolled up
Doing it
sleeves.
like every day, crushing it. All right. So
With
next
painkillers. What?
questions are going to start getting, there's a few more questions. They might get a little bit rough. So here we go.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you could get rid of one state, what state would it be and why? I love this one. I can't wait for your answer.
This defeats the whole purpose of this interview, but Alabama.
Your
I
state,
mean,
get rid of it, I guess, but I'm just asking.
yeah.
Fair question. Right.
I think, yeah, really, Alabama.
It's a bummer.
It's
Isn't
one of the
it?
most beautiful states, but like, you
Yeah.
know.
We'll just move on from that one because
Okay.
it would have been more fun to make fun of somebody else. But okay.
Mississippi.
I don't know. They might be
They're doing better than us probably already.
doing. I think they might be doing better. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Next, collectively self-deprecating question.
Got it.
Got
How
it.
do you feel about? No, not really. This one's a little bit different. How do you feel about Congress?
How do I feel about what?
Congress.
AOC. I will say this. You know what?
Okay.
I thought about this in the car today or yesterday. No, today. And it plays a lot with you know, Congress right now. F. Mitch McConnell first and foremost. Hope he gets COVID. And people are being like, they'll probably be like, oh, you know, you're probably thinking right now, like, oh, why would you say that? That's so mean. Well, I mean, I wish I would have had my rent or other people had their mortgages frozen and like a basic income. And he blocked it, so he can get COVID for all I care. F him. But for Congress, for other things in Congress, you know, we need to elect Doug Jones again, re-elect him, because anybody who votes for Tommy Tuberville is supporting a racist, is supporting the worst attributes of this state in this country. And it's really pathetic that we get a stupid football coach. And I can say this because I went to that institution that, you know, the irony of a person saying that, oh, we can't afford $600 a week when Auburn, you know, paid him millions of dollars to quit. What a liar. What an asshole. Fuck him. Like, you know, why do we have to choose a football coach that is one of the worst sports anyway? Sports suck already, but football's awful, except the players. You know why. But like, why do we have to choose a football coach over a civil rights attorney who he and his team successfully prosecuted one of the most infamous terrorists in this state, in this city that we're from? That's ridiculous. You know, I honestly wish it was between Doug Jones and Roy Moore, because that was an easy decision. But I'm driving all around these places that used to hang like Doug Jones signs, and now we're hanging Tommy Tuberville signs. It's like, you couldn't bring yourself to vote for an alleged, you know, pedophile. Like, you're going to choose a football coach that promotes Christian values when those values are against the existence of so many people. Like, what is with you? Like, all that we're asking for in this country is just a chance to be represented, a chance to be seen. And these are people that only see a few. And if you vote for Tommy Tuberville, you're voting basically for Donald Trump. And that is this generation's George Wallace. And a lot of people were really dumb voting for George Wallace. And you know what happened to that? George Wallace was one of the people that used that right-wing populism to say, if you vote for me, I'm going to take care of you. And he did with those people. But when you look at the people that didn't support him, he made those people suffer. He put so many projects on the back burner of this city, the city of Birmingham, because people didn't like him. And this city suffered, and because this city suffered in other places too, across the state, this state suffered. And I want somebody who, even if you don't like them, is going to do what they can for your best interests. Tommy Tuberville's not that. Donald Trump's not that. George Wallace was never that. And the good thing about George Wallace is that he's not here anymore to harm people. You know, where I went to school, when I was in Auburn, the building I was in was named after George Wallace, Wallace Hall. And every day going into that building, I felt so uncomfortable because also being from Birmingham, whenever I think of George Wallace, I think of Bull Connor. I think of people being hosed. And the fact that I got this degree that was signed by a governor who later resigned over a sex scandal, which I'm pretty proud of, that was a Xerox signature of my degree. Like, the fact that we honor these people, it's like the Confederate statues. You're probably going to lose more people with this, but that's okay. But they only belong in museums and history books. They do not need to be memorialized. So like, you know, I will say with the Confederate memorial thing that was in downtown Birmingham, the only reservation I had at that time was that that statue was designed, how I understand, and what I've read is that that statue was cast and designed by Giuseppe Moretti, who created Vulcan. And I thought it'd be cool to have like a monument around it, like to show the real history. That was the only exception because like it was the artist who did it. But I'm actually glad it's down because we don't even have to think about that anymore. We can move forward. And that's what progress is. We don't have statues of King George III. Why should we have statues of, of General Lee? So that's what I think about Congress. And I want healthcare and education free for everybody and affordable housing is a right, not a privilege. So.
All right. I knew you'd have an answer for that. I'm so glad I asked. Okay.
I know you did.
I'm terrified to ask this next one now.
I'm ready.
I have to admit, but here
I'm
we
shaking.
go.
I'm shaking.
Number 19. What's the worst thing about humanity?
That we don't see others' humanity.
Very well said. And very true.
Yeah. Ask Donald Trump.
Boom.
Boom. Microphone. Bye, everybody. Peace. Daria's out. Oh, okay. Daria's going to hide behind the plant.
And number 20.
And number 20.
How is your memory? Memory?
I remember people's stories. That's what I'm really good at remembering. I'm remembering impressions and things that people have told me because I'm really interested in I've always been really interested in trauma because that's something that we all share, but we have different experiences of it. And I think sharing people's stories is really important because when we grieve over something that happens, grieving and grievance is not only an individual thing, it is a communally based thing. And, and I'll say this too, like, I think that's what we're kind of really seeing right now is that we are looking at grieving and grievance of a way that we have maybe once lived our lives, like, this whole COVID thing, and then also with Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and also justice for EJ at the Galleria. That's so wrong. And here's the thing, like, we have to remember, like, I don't know what a good memory is. Like, history, they always say history is written by the victors, but you know what? History is always incomplete, and that's okay. but we have to find a way where we include everybody to tell their stories so that we can have a broader sense of history. History is not a simple narrative. It's a series of narratives. It's a series of narratives to one's perception. And I'm not saying that as some like hokey, like spiritual thing. I'm just saying like how we sense like, let's say when Reagan became president or something, people have different reactions and people remember it differently. Memory is not like you can play the tape again. It always changes. And it's never really like reliable, but the feelings are reliable. It's like grieving and grievance. I think we hold on to our memories so much that we don't know how to bring them out. And actually when I started doing like my art, like the whole like Birmingham prints thing, I was kind of connecting with people that had memories of things that meant to them of Birmingham, because that became a way of me like connecting with people. Because really, people think, I mean, this is a broad statement, but like, what I've noticed in a lot of like art shows, there are people that are from here that have lived a long time, or there are people that are like new here and haven't been here before, or other things in between. And there's so much changing in this city. There's so much happening, but it's always keen to remember that this is a city that was built on speculation. It was built on the slavery after slavery. It was convict slave labor, and we still live in a very impoverished city. And even though you see a lot of progress going on, a lot of that progress is built on speculation, and it's not really invested in people and of the people that are here. And if there's a disagreement with this, being said that that anybody listening is materializing, I want you to understand that some people had it better. Like some people had more things available than others here. And it doesn't have to always be that way. Like, I just think of, and if you try to deny that that's a thing, I would ask for you to speculate and examine your own sense of trauma, of how you react to others' traumas. Because that's what creates your memories, and that's what creates judgment, and that's what creates a story. And I'm not saying like whether a good or a bad thing, but that's something that I've noticed in my own work as I work through my own traumas, as I try to bring out like this sort of these narratives, like in my newer work, is that I want to bring out a memory of things that are familiar to people, but it doesn't really point to anything specific, because we all share something in which we grieve. We all share something in which we traumatize, or that we're traumatized by. And that's what makes us human. And that's what brings out our humanity. Like, and to deny that is to just deny humanity. And that's not the point. So.
Oh, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today.
Yes. Thank you for having me on. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Happy
You're doing
for
so
me.
much. I thought you said you're happy for me.
I am happy for you.
Well, I'm happy for you because you're doing a lot. Like, as I said, you're building things up to like further help like the community. And that's something that I don't yet have, like as organizing and stuff like that. But I know I can take that energy and put it in my art, and it kind of builds into something else. I don't know. I know. I mean, what else do I need? Like, what else do I need? Like, Lindsay, she doesn't do this. I'll blink twice, She doesn't beat me. She doesn't keep me, So, she.
Signing off.
Signing off. No.
But no, in all seriousness, thanks for chatting today and sharing your opinions and your hopes and your dreams and your work. Things that make you and an artist in Birmingham.
Thank you. And I hope my art kind of brings something back to Birmingham, because like I'm, it's like I can't deny that I'm from here, but a lot of times I don't really feel like I belong here. Um, and in that kind of grief, like I did find a semblance of belonging, like through in my art and
Mhm.
having been able to share that with people, like that's something really beautiful, and that's something that you really don't see, I think, elsewhere in the state um, that I know of. But like, I'm just coming from somebody who mostly lived in Birmingham,
Right. Yeah.
and it's just, I don't know. I want, what I want people to see in my art is that things don't have to always be how they have been. We can act. There's been initiatives to do things different. They've been squandered, but we can still think about those things and do those things. And I just, because I know I can't individually, but I can use my like individuality to like say something that can help benefit all of us. So
Yeah. And art is definitely a great way to have conversations with people about social issues or positive change and all kinds of stuff.
and it's like I rather see funding, go into like Bluff Park rather than just the football program at Hoover. Like that's just an example. Like what people don't understand, because when we live in a when you live in a place where there is a dominant culture or there's a dominance of shared things, that's always a thing in the society. Like that's okay and that's valid. The thing that we have to realize is that not everybody lives or thinks that way. Um, it's just what that is that not everybody thinks or lives that way. And we have to cater to things, we have to cater to people's differences because that's what makes a stronger, more unified culture and society. And when when we live in Alabama, when we live in the South, specifically Alabama, where it's always like football, 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 football. I call it the three G's, okay? God, guns, and goalposts. Like, it's not. You're welcome.
True.
People, feel free to take that. Like, I prefer you to credit me, but you don't have to. I wanted to come out
Not copyright.
not copyright. It's for the public. It's public utility. But like, we're so focused on that everybody thinks that that's just how everybody thinks and that's how everybody is. And we live in a place where this has been documented. This is at the libraries showing this, showing research on this, that it, in this culture that we live in Alabama, in Birmingham, is that anybody who is different is othered, period. It's always been like that. And when COVID hit, um, I wasn't able to continue doing my research just because I don't want to get sick. But there's some really important things that need to be said, that have already been said in the past but need to be heard again, because history is when you don't history is repeated when you make the same mistakes, but when you're so afraid to make the same mistakes that you end up making the same mistakes. And there's one thing where in this audit that I was reading a while back
Hmm.
that was showing how, and this was in the 60s, this was actually before the civil rights movement when this was like published. It wasn't even published because it was so controversial. Like that everything about this city is conformity in its architecture, conformity in the people. And this isn't me saying as an opinion. This has been documented that it is like the only reason why Birmingham and like, well, Alabama, but I'll say specifically Birmingham because that's my knowledge set. The thing about Birmingham is that it only became what it was just because of the sheer luck of natural resources. But when you have a city that's built on the models of exploitation and it's not deconstructed, because it was trying to be in the 30s, like when a lot of labor movements and things were happening here. But the ways that those were squandered was by using already established forms of bigotry and othering people. So, for instance, racism. So, say this, for instance, if you were working in the mines, like under Red Mountain, um, Like it didn't matter if you were like black or white or whatever. Like you were being subjugated by companies and those owners of those companies who used to actually make a fortune during the antebellum period, but used their same practices of, of indenturing people and enslaving people and subjugating people, and just transferred it over to a time when this country went through an industrious pace. And we live in the legacy of that. We live in the legacy of that. And we have to find ways to decrease the sense of poverty. I will say this, you look at like Railroad Park and things, for instance, there's a lot of funding and things going there, but there's by like speculators and real estate people and people buying up properties. But at the same time, there are people in Inslee that are doing the same thing, but they don't get anything. And that is a history of systemic forms of bigotry. And you can say of any flavor. I'll obviously say this, I'll say the obvious thing, systemic racism. But there's an extension to that too, of systemic forms of just poverty. It just happens that in this country, in this state, in this city, there's a history of that with anybody who looks different from the dominant culture. It was done to Italians, it was done to Lebanese people, it was to anybody that didn't have like white skin. But when people when those cultures blended in, there were other cultures left behind. And we have to not leave behind more people on some stupid category that was just made up. Race is not real. It's not a biological reality. It's only a social reality because we made it to be. And I feel like we're in this kind of reckoning right now and trying to figure out like, how do we go from that? And I hope that we go through this with an understanding of abolishing the idea that race is biologically real. And we address in enclosing the systemic social forms of bigotry to then enclose the concept of race. If it's been around for hundreds of years, if something has been around for hundreds of years, it takes hundreds of years or more to deconstruct those things. But I really believe we can do it sooner. And that's my hope. So
I hope you're right.
I do too. And when you live here and when you say these things like this, there are people who understand. But there's a lot of people who don't understand. That's a lot of people. And I don't know how to, I don't have the magic cure. I just know my history. I mean, I'm not saying that like I'm better than people. I'm just saying like, look, you have to be curious. Curiosity is beaten out of people, and that's a traumatic thing. Art is a way to bring in curiosity, and art is a way of learning, whatever that medium is for you, or forms of media. Anything, that's what creativity is. Everybody is creative. Whether you think you aren't, you are. You just have to find a way that is positive for you to bring in and harness curiosity, because in curiosity is creativity. So, and we need that. We need that so bad in this city, this state, this country, and we would be a better people.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're right on. Well, thank you, Michael. As always, it's good to see you. I wish it was in person and we weren't doing this, but that's okay.
We'll have our time.
Yes.
There'll be a time after this.
Time, whenever that will be. There's no way to know. But I miss you.
I miss you so much. I miss everybody.
I know.
Miss you
Hello,
so
everybody.
much.
I miss you.
Bye. If anybody's still watching after all the stuff I've said,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm right. No, it's teasing. No.
All right.
No,
Well,
I miss you so much.
I miss you too, and I'll
give me a call.
All right.
Bye, y'all. Bye.